In this video, I will be teaching you how to produce glow in the dark paint. The paint actually takes its name from its characteristics of having to reflect light or beam back light when the light source is out. This is how it works. When there is a light source and you use this type of paint, the pigments in the paint absorb energy from the light source, and when the light source is out, it reflects back the same light, causing it to glow in the dark. That is where its name, glow in the dark paint, actually come from. Is actually coming from. There are so many other names that is actually being called according to its users. We can call it a phosphorescence paint, but those are just from the pigment that is actually used. We have those type of pigments, and they actually have the characteristics of having to reflect light. But the simple term that I love to refer to it as is glow in the dark paint. So when there is light, it absorbs energy, and when the light source is out, especially in dark places, it begins to reflect light. You want to begin to ask, what is the purpose of this type of paint? This type of paint is actually used for markings. It can actually be used for markings in order to reflect a particular instruction in the dark, maybe a danger signal or a danger sign, or just you want people to be able to indicate or know that there is something there. You can always use that type of paint called glow in the dark paint. But aside that, we now use it for aesthetics and decorative painting. One of the ways by which we apply it now is actually in the production of what we call liquid plaster or liquid wallpaper, whereby you have fiber silk cut in pieces and then mixed with this pigment and some other chemicals like dispersible binder, and then you apply it on the wall. So when light beams on the wall or on the substrate you painted this paint with, it will have absorb the energy of that light, whether it is actually coming from the ray of sun or it's coming from your electricity. It will absorb that energy over time, and then when the light source is out in the dark, it starts you know, um, giving back that same light, reflecting beautiful light. On the screen you will begin to see what I'm actually talking about, what it looks like, and that is exactly what you are going to be producing now. Say, what are the other ways by which we can actually apply it? You can apply it on your ceilings, uh, and especially when you have stencils. People use star stencils. Stencils that have stars that has actually been drawn into it. Now you can actually place it on your ceiling and apply this paint, and then it's begin to glow in the dark. Maybe you want the serenity of a dim lighted room, and you still want to begin to see some reflections of light. You begin to have that experience of having to be in nature, staring at the sky and seeing beautiful stars. The difference is just that the star is actually in your room and on your ceiling. So that is exactly what you're actually going to be doing, treating or producing. Because after this, I talked about the chemical. We're now going to the practical section of the video. So let's continue. So what are the things that you need? You need just basically you need water. I will be producing 1 kg batch. So I have actually listed the chemicals for 1 kg batch. You'll be needing water 0.25 kg. You'll be needing dispersant. You can use ammonium polyacrylate or the popular sodium polyphosphate, and that is what we are going to be using in this production. You need just very little amount of that, 0.06 of that. Sorry, should be 0.006. You need very little of that, or we can make it 0.1 kg. So you need very little of that, about 10 grams. So you need defoamer 0.04. That's very little defoamer. So you need acrylic 300 grams of acrylic. That's 0.3 kg of acrylic. You need propylene glycol, or you can actually also pay it with you can pay it with Texanol. You can pair it with Texanol. So probably in this production, I'll be using the combination of the two, propylene glycol and ethylene, and Texanol rather. So we'll be needing thickener also, 0.01 kg of thickener. We'll be needing ammonia. Ammonia is actually maybe optional also, but you can use it rather. You can use it 0.002, which is actually very minute amount of ammonia that you need in that production. Then we have glow in the dark powder, which is glow powder. We have glow powder. This is what is actually going to give that illuminescent experience that you're actually looking for in this production. It is what will actually give the paint its glow. It will store energy. We have basically, okay, let me just say we have two, no, not two. We have others, but then let me just introduce you to these two: phosphorescence and strontium aluminate powder. Those are some of the powders that you'll be able to, the glow powder that you'll be able to get in the market. So those are basically, so then you need filler, very minute amount of filler is 0.01 kg, 0.01 kg. And then you need your preservative, which is 0.002 kg, because of the volume we are actually producing is a very minute amount, which is about 1 kg batch. So if you want to produce in large batch, you can now begin to scale it by multiplying whatever amount you want to get. So let's go directly to the practical section of this video. Let us quickly get into the practical aspect of producing glow in the dark paint or glow paint. In other words, paints that glows after you switch off the light. When there is no light, they begin to glow. So that is exactly the kind of paints we'll be producing. So I will be listing some of the things that we'll be using in this production. It's just basically the normal thing that we use in production. First off, we have acrylic. Acrylic. So we have acrylic that we'll be using. But then just very a little demonstration. That's what we'll be doing. Though I gave 1 kg batch sample formulation, that you saw on the board. So this is actually the former we'll be using, and then this is a Texanol. Though I probably might not be using Texanol, I will be using maybe propylene glycol instead of Texanol. But then you can still make do with Texanol if that is what you are having. It serves the same purpose like Texanol will. And then this is a preservative that we'll be using. And then we'll be using some thickener. It is HEC thickener. And then this is actually the glow in the dark pigment. We call it fluorescent pigment, or glow in the dark, or glow pigment, or glow pigment. That is actually what we call it. And then I think I have like two different colors here. This is actually a lemon, though they will actually label it as yellow. It's actually lemon. And then this is the green. They have they actually last long in reflecting the energy stored than some other colors. So we'll be using that in this production. Basically, okay, I think I haven't shown this. This is actually the dispersant we'll be using, which is sodium phosphate, which is our regular dispersant, Cargon, as you all know it to be. And then what else have I not shown you? That's basically what we'll be using. Then we'll be using water. We'll be using calcium in this production. We're using calcium in this production, though you can also use fumed silica, but calcium is readily available. You want to use that as an extender and as a filler in this production. So that's just basically what we'll be needing to producing glow in the dark paint or fluorescent paint or illuminescent paint, anyone you want to actually call it. But for ease of nomenclature, I will just call it glow in the dark, so that when you put off your light, this paint will be shining and will be beaming light, or it will actually be no you actually be seeing light, because the particle of this pigment has actually been charged by either the ray of light that is actually coming into that room that you actually paint it with. Oftentimes we use it to paint the ceiling, so that when you are sleeping, it's giving you this relaxed, how do I put it now, that relaxation feel, can actually transport you into the dreamland. So in producing, so I'll go in with my water. We need very little amount of water here. Though I will not be producing up to 1 kg batch, but then I've given the formulation for 1 kg, because the reason why I will not be producing that is because this is actually just a practical class to show you what it is, because these pigments are a little bit expensive, so I wouldn't want to uh, just want to waste it without having a definite use for it. So I'll be going in with a little bit of my dispersant, so I gently mix it. So once my dispersant is actually dissolved, I can go in with my HEC, that's my thickener. I can go in with my thickener. My thickener now. I love to pre-disperse my thickener, though you can actually have it directly if you are using high speed dispersant. So I go in with my thickener. I just want to give it a gentle mix. So I'll come in with my thickener, so I can mix that down thoroughly. Once my thickener goes in, so now I can go in with my calcium and mix in. It's just to show you the process of how to produce the paints, so that you can actually replicate it on a larger scale. So it is nothing serious, just so at this stage I cannot go in with my acrylic. I'm just showing you how to go about the production. So this one is not a full-fledged production, so just how to go about the production. That is exactly what I'm showing you. But if you want to produce yours, I'm just showing you the process. The the formulation has actually been given, so you can follow through with that. if you are producing yours. One thing about paint production is the measurement is key. Measurement is king in paint production, so you have to be very accurate in your measurement when producing paint. So after adding your acrylic, you want to go in with your deformer. You see that you see some element of foam in the production already. So you want to go in with your deformer so that you can eliminate those microforms and macroforms. It will interest you to know that we have two different forms of foam in paint production. We have micro and we have macro. So there are two different foam in paint production, which you need to really take care of when producing. So at this stage, you can now go in with your glue in the dark pigment. This is actually about 20 grams. I'm using now. Using about 20 grams in this. You see, the higher the how do I put it now? The pigments, your glow pigment, the higher the illumination and the longer the illumination. Because basically what allows the paint to glow or to shine in the dark is the pigment. And the science behind it is its particle is actually charged when there's light. It's more or less like battery storing electricity. It charges when there's light and then give back that energy when the light is out. That's basically what the pigment does. You can still add a little bit of this. The pigment is a little bit expensive. Why I say that? It's a little bit expensive when compared to the likes of maybe metallic gold or silver. No, it's a little bit expensive. So basically, you're having the glow in the dark paint. That's just basically it. So at this point, you can either go in with your propylene glycol or texanol. Let me just use texanol in this production just for film formation and for film formation. Yeah, I think that's enough. It doesn't stop me from using. It doesn't stop me from using propylene glycol too. Just that I can use both in a given ratio, because they are actually going to perform the same function, except for the fact that propylene glycol can actually give an extra property of wet edge to the paint. Let me just use that. So it's not a must to use it too. It's not a must to use the combination. It's not a must. Can give an extra edge or extra property of wet edge, especially when you are producing deep color paints. Just like I always say, when you are producing deep color paints, voila, that's basically how to produce glow in the dark paint. So when you apply this and leave it, leave the light on, at a point in time it becomes charged, and then illuminates or give back that same energy when light is out for for some hours. Sometimes when you use very good pigments, when you use very good glow in the dark pigments, it can actually last for as long as maybe 6 to 7 hours. Very good one though. And if it is a very high load pigment, so this basically the production of glow in the dark paint. So we can now add our preservative. You will notice I did not use ammonia that much. I don't want to add that much to it, but then I did not use ammonia, but you can actually use ammonia for pH balance. I don't just want to open that bottle of ammonia today, so let me just keep it at that, since this one is just an explanation video. So voila, your glow in the dark paint is ready. So that was basically a glow in the dark paint. So when applied, and then you illuminate that that place that the paint is actually applied, over time it's soak in the energy of this light source and then reflect it back when there is no light. Thank you. See you in my next video.